Now this build is goddamn nasty. Not that kind of nasty. This kind of nasty, it's objectively the best barbarian build in Diablo 4. Heck, every barb is using it right now. The competitiveness of the Gauntlet truly made some goddamn busted builds. Check this guy out. He's the rank 1 barbarian and he is using this build. And now, my friends, it's time for Mr. Paragaming to show you the ways of the barbarian so you can do it as well. Not only that, though, I'll show you how to set up the build for everything. The Gauntlet, tier 100 farming, bossing, and how you can destroy using this build without any uber uniques. Hell yeah, let's get started. So how in the hell can a build be this goddamn fast? Well, shit, son. I'm glad you asked. In the mid-season patch, Metamorphosis was reintroduced. When imprinted on the amulet and combined with Whirlwind, we can constantly keep resetting this ability for permanent metamorphosis due to a secret tech that I'll show you later. To become fast as fuckboy, the build also uses charge. We can easily get 0 cooldown on this skill, and when combined with Ancestral Charge and Brawler's Aspect, it also deletes entire screens. The problem with this skill, however, is that walls are a thing, but that's where Leap comes in. By using this skill, we can tell those pesky walls to fuck off and fly straight through them. Now to become even faster than fuck that is, we use Rallying Cry and combine it with a shit ton of movement speed. We stack so much movement speed, in fact, that we reach the movement speed cap despite Whirlwind lowering our movement speed by 30%. Oh, and lastly, the Big Dam. Combining permanent uptime on Warcry with the Big Daddy Hammer and Earthstriker's Aspect, we don't even need the Banished Lord's Talisman since we just one-shot everything without it. This all sounds sick, right? Hell yeah, friends. So let's check out the gear and aspects making this whole thing possible. Firstly, due to the high speeds of this amazing build, we are going to need a helmet. So smack on a shako if you have it, or the Tuskhelm of Joritz if you don't. To cover your big old titties, you definitely need a chest. For the Gauntlet, we are using Rage of Harrogath. For tier 100 farming, however, we grab a defensive chest with the Juggernaut Aspect. Now for the gloves, you want the same as me. You're also going to imprint Aspect of Ancestral Force here to make your hammer become Big Hammer. Because Big Hammer, good. For the pants, we want Tibol's Will. This one is mandatory for sure, being our main source of fury generation. Now the boots are actually hecking interesting, so put back your pecker into your pants for a sec and listen up. You always want movement speed here, but you also need movement speed after killing elites. Shrine buff duration, as well as attacks, reduce evade cooldown for the Gauntlet. These stats are extremely important. My rolls here are dog shit, which makes me sad. Imagine spending 1,000,000 shattered stones and only getting these LMAO. You want the movement speed after killing elites to make sure that you're at movement speed cap as you're spinning. When it comes to shrines, well, there's a fucking ton of them in the Gauntlet, and more duration is good. For tier 100, however, just grab a bunch of resistances, and as aspect, you want Ghostwalker's Aspect, as we can keep it up permanently. Now on the weapons, we want to prioritize a few stats. The top dogs are currently running, all stats, strength, damage, while berserking and crit damage. I'm however running overpower instead of crit damage currently, and that works great as well. Crit damage is used since you are granted free crits by picking up the lethal shrine. Now firstly for the aspect, I'm rocking the Earthstriker on my hammer. Since I'm lacking some gear, I need this to consistently one-shot bosses, and I recommend you to do this as well if you lack a bit of gear. The top dogs are currently rocking Brawler's Aspect here, however, for the Gauntlet, to boost charge damage and more easily clear packs of enemies. For the one-handers, you can use either swords or maces, and the aspects that you want are Aspect of Ancestral Charge as well as Brawler's Aspect, unless you're using it on your Big Daddy hammer. And for the last weapon, the two-handed sword, I'm rocking the Granddaddy. If you don't have it, then that is fine, and you can use the limitless rage aspect here for Big Damn. Alright, and what about the jewelry then? Shit, we can get a ton of sick stats here. I've been farming like crazy, and this piece of shit is the best I could find. What you actually want? A movement speed, cooldown reduction, ranks to brawling skills, as well as shrine buff duration. You also want aspect of metamorphosis, as it's hecking busted. For the rings, you need to get Ring of the Ravenous proc weapon swaps with Earthstriker's aspect. For the other ring, however, you can grab a bunch of nice stats. The ones to prioritize are crit chance, crit damage, maximum fury, and damage while berserking. Also imprint the Bold Chieftain's aspect to reset our shouts easily. Nicely done, friends. Gear and aspects are now done. Now it's time to show my awesome stone collection. Here's my favorite stone, Tempest. It has the shortest cooldown of all stones, and by using resource support, we are granted a ton of fury. All the pro gamers are also using efficiency for more crit chance here as well as Evernight. If you don't have Evernight, however, then you can grab Swift support for some extra fury generation, for example. Now for the other side, I'm rocking Flash of Adrenaline for Big Damn. I'm also boosting it with duration and tactical supports. Now I still haven't got Genesis, since Blizzard fucking hates me. So I'm using Fortify support here. If you have Genesis, however, then I recommend putting Fortify support on the other side and socketing Genesis here. Before I forget, let's also take a look at the weapon arsenal and how you set up your weapons. Not that I've ever forgotten that in any of my videos before, am I right, folks? Yeah. Firstly, charge needs to be set to bludgeoning weapon. This is to deal maximum damage. We then have our whirlwind, which we set to dual wield. And lastly, the hammer is set to... the hammer. This setup also allows us to get maximum weapon swaps from our Earthstriker. And for the weapon expertise, we're rocking the axe weapon expertise for some extra multiplicative damage. Yummy. Nice one, friends. Let's take a look at my big dick skill tree now. Using a basic skill is for beta cucks only, so fuck that shit. Max out the Big Daddy hammer instead, and also grab Enhanced and Furious hammer for even more big dick damage. The Furious hammer is what grants us extra damage the more fury we have, which is why it's hecking nice to stack maximum fury. We also grab Whirlwind as well as Enhanced Whirlwind for easy weapon swaps along with some secret techs. In the defensive skills, we're only grabbing Rallying Cry as well as Enhanced and Tactical Rallying Cry for the Unstoppable and Resources, as we only want Big Damn. Whenever you're farming tier 100, however, you can easily swap some points and grab defensives here. In the brawling skills, we have a ton of nice abilities to pick from. We grab War Cry for big damage, of course, Booming Voice for permanent shouts, and then we max out Charge along with Enhanced and Power Charge to decrease its cooldown down to 0. To avoid shitty walls and annoying mechanics, make sure to grab Leap as well as Enhanced Leap to reduce its cooldown. After that, we grab all of these passives. Battle Fervor is extremely important, as using brawling skills will be our only source of berserking in this build. And lastly, Swiftness, because we want to be fast as fuck, boy. In the weapon mastery skills, we simply grab a few of the passives here to boost our damage, and then we head on over to the ultimates. Here we grab Tempered Fury for more Big Damn with our hammer, and all of these to boost our damage further, and then the key, passive. As we're getting damage both from our charge and hammer in this build, we want to use Unconstrained, as it boosts both of their damage, which Unbridled Rage doesn't. I also need to mention that for tier 100s you definitely need Invigorating Fury as well. Well shit, friends. Great job. Only the Paragons and some secret techs left then. Before we take a look at the Paragons, however, drop a sub-yar legend. Yeah, hecking do it. I'm waiting. Now in the starting board, we grab the exploit glyph as per usual to make enemies vulnerable. We then head on over to the Bonebreaker board, pick up the legendary node for easy overpowers, and socket the martial glyph. This is how we reset our abilities, and by socketing it here, we can get a massive amount of overpower, which is nice. After that, we go to the Warbringer board so we can get all of these sexy maximum fury nodes right here. And then we socket the dominant glyph for massive overpower damage. We then go to the Blood Rage board and grab the legendary node so that damage while berserking becomes multiplicative. We also want the Ire glyph as well as all the strength nodes we can find to get as much damage while berserking as possible. After that, we go back to the Carnage board. The legendary node can eat shit as we don't need the attack speed. Instead, we grab all of this amazing damage while berserking. We also socket the Crusher glyph, of course, for massive damage. And lastly, we go to the Decimator board. We choose this last as we are not picking up any rare nodes here, and instead just grab the Decimator legendary node for some extra multiplicative damage. Alright then, you now have everything in place to play this amazing build. Let's take a look at how it works in action and what techs can be used to boost the build even further. Firstly, we have the boss killing and gauntlet preparation. You want to do this before every gauntlet or boss for that insane wombo combo. We need two things, Maximum Fury and 8 stacks of Earthstriker. Simply alternate between charging, using Whirlwind and the Hammer until your stacks are up to 8. If you need more Fury, then you can use Rallying Cry or Evade. You then make sure you get Unstoppable, pop War Cry, and one-shot that piece of shit. Nice. Let's take a look at how you kill bosses when you can't prepare for it. Let's imagine that this Jason Voorhees-looking asshole is a boss. How do we make sure to kill him as fast as possible? Well, we either charge him and hope for the best, or we can keep weapon swapping until we get an Earthstriker proc. To get these procs as easy as possible, there are 2 settings you need. Go to Accessibility and turn off Persist Target Locking. And then you go to your controls and make sure that your hold position is bound to the same key as your hammer, plus some other key bound, such as Control or Shift. Now everything is going to be easy as fuck. All you need to do is hold your force move and keep alternating Whirlwind and Hammer. Pretty easy, huh? Yeah. This works a hell of a lot faster if you stack attack speed, but we only need this tech for a few boss fights a run. It's not really necessary. If you play on a controller, then all you need to do is move as you do this, and everything happens by itself. This is the same if you go and swap to keyboard movement. Now, as a reference, this is how it would look like if we didn't use any of these settings. Pretty goddamn slow. Here's another fun tech as we're in here. You never want to hold down your Whirlwind in this build, and here's why. Every time we press Whirlwind, we reduce the cooldown of our Evade. This is due to attacks, reduce Evade cooldown, and each press of Whirlwind counts as an attack. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. This also works with the Artillery Shrine, where we get 1 tick each time we press Whirlwind. And here's yet another tech. This leap ability is pretty cool because you can jump straight through walls. Now with that out of the way, let's check out a Gauntlet run and how you can use all of these tips at once. We start by stacking up Earthstriker and one-shotting this highly unique boss that we definitely haven't seen anywhere else before. Whenever we don't have Artillery Shrine up, we generally focus on using charge as well as leap a lot. Now here's a boss, and we can kill that asshole easily by doing the weapon swap tech. This is where it gets interesting though. Whenever we have an Artillery Shrine, we can now start spamming Whirlwind and Evade to teleport around like crazy, having our Whirlwinds constantly shooting out artilleries, as well as resetting the cooldown of Evade. This is also where movement speed after killing elites comes in handy, so we are always running at movement speed cap Great job, friends. That's all you need to know. Now, all you need to do to top the leaderboards is to get all of the Uber Uniques and run this dungeon 10 hours a day. If you ever need a break, make sure to check out the link in my description. Until next one, have a good one, legends.